Isn't it? Then Daniel answered the king, "You can keep your gifts for yourself and give your rewards to someone else. Nevertheless, I will read the writing, the king, and of the writing for the king, and tell him what it means. Your Majesty, the Most High God, gave your father Nebuchadnezzar sovereignty and greatness and glory and splendor. Because of the high position he gave him, all the nations and peoples of every language dreaded and feared him. Those the king wanted to put to death, he put to death. Those he wished to spare, he spared. Those he wanted to promise, he promised. And those he wanted to humble, he humbled. But when his heart became arrogant and hardened with pride, he was deposed from his royal throne. And you know the story of Nebuchadnezzar, how he lost his mind. And he was eating grass like
cattle,
oxen, and yeah, that's right. So I won't need to read that. But you, Belshazzar, his son, have not humbled yourself. Of course, he went on to say that when he humbled himself, God restored his mind and so on. Instead of humbling yourself, you have set yourself up against the Lord of heaven. You had the goblets from his temple brought to you. That, the minute I read that, I thought, what an offense to God. That is one of the things he wouldn't stomach. Pardon?
I coughed.
Oh, okay, sorry. I can't even tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. That's the truth. Yeah. Horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. Okay, Leslie, I keep losing my place when I go away. Okay. You even had the goblets from his temple brought to you, and you and your nobles, your wives and your concubines drank from those. You praised the gods of silver and gold, of bronze, iron, wood, and stone, which cannot see or hear or understand. But you did not honor the God who holds in his hand your life and all your ways. That spoke to me. God, when I get in a panic about stupid things, and you've got it all under control, and I just need to look at you, really. Anyway, therefore, he sent the hand that wrote this inscription. This is the inscription that was written. Mene, mene, you know this. Tekel, parsin. This doesn't do a parson, that funny word. Here is what these words mean. Mene. God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. I mean, that should scare him even more than the mean words he doesn't understand. Tekel, you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Perez is how that next word is. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then at Belshazzar's command, Daniel was clothed in purple. A gold chain was placed around his neck, like it or lump it. And it doesn't say that, of course. And he was proclaimed the third highest ruler in the kingdom. God is amazing, isn't he? One of these teenage boys that goes off to Babylon, and he's been called here to stand before the king. The queen comes in and says, may your worship live forever. Anyway, that very night, Belshazzar, king of the Babylonians, was slain. And Darius the Mede took over the kingdom at the age of 62. And then this says that the events of Daniel 6 took place shortly after Darius the Mede took over in Babylon in October 539 BC. Are you wanting to do something there and I'm disturbing you?
No, not at all.
Okay. It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. At this, I'm trying to think, I don't want to read lots of stuff in between. I will read it. The satraps were made accountable to them so that the king might not suffer loss. Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom.
Mm.
At this, the administrators and the satraps tried to find grounds for charges against Daniel in his conduct of government affairs, but they were unable to do so. They could find no corruption in him because he was trustworthy and neither corrupt nor negligent. What a testimony he had in practical things.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, these men said, "We'll never find any basis for charges against this man, Daniel, unless it has something to do with the law of his God." So the administrators and satraps, I don't know if they pronounce it like that, sounds a bit funny really, went as a group to the king and said, "May King Darius live forever." The royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors here all agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce the decree that anyone who prays to any god or human being during the next 30 days, except to you, your majesty, shall be thrown into the lion's den. I know you know the story, but reading it just... Now, your majesty, issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. So King Darius put the decree in writing. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. Oh, I love this so much. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying, which they expected, and asking God for help. So they went to the king and spoke to him about his royal decree. Oh, I'm coming to the bit that moved me so very much this morning, and you'll see why. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, your majesty, would be thrown into the lion's den? The king answered, "The decree stands in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed." Then they said to the king, "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you. Your majesty pays no attention to you or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day." When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. Then the men went as a group to King Darius and said to him, "Remember, your majesty, that according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." So mean. The devil's people are so mean, aren't they? And wiping their hands like, I don't know what, enjoying it so much. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve, and continue, let me read that again. May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." And I believe he really, really meant that, because A stone, a stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and with the rings of his nobles, so that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Then the king returned to his palace. I love this next bit. Returned to his palace and spent the night without eating and without any entertainment being brought to him, and he could not sleep.
Mm.
At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice. I love it. Oh, it chokes me up. Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions? Daniel answered, may the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They've not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. And he knows because he couldn't sleep.
Mm.
The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And to lift him out, there was no other way out.
Mm.
It was sealed shut.
Mm.
Gosh. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. At the king's command, the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought in and thrown into the lion's den with their wives, their children, and before they reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones.
Mm.
Now this is where some people think God is so cruel, don't they, that he will kill the wives and their children as well, but I cannot understand the holiness of God or his reasons for the things that he does. We can't. We're not. Even the best Christian on earth isn't capable of understanding that, are we?
Mm-mm.
Then King Darius wrote to all the nations and peoples of every language in all the earth, may you prosper greatly. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel.
Mm.
For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian, who followed him.
Mm.
And that's where I couldn't read any further this morning, because I thought that I've got to just let that sink in.
That's right. Meditate on that.
Absolutely. We went when you were a boy, and one of the speakers spoke about how to worship God, and he said, I remember this so much. I've told people about it.
Where was this?
It was in Sussex. I think David Owen lent us his car so that I could take you and the children. I can't remember now. I might have that time sequence all wrong. But he preached and he said, these are the things that we need to remember. These three things are important to us in our worship, our personal worship. I'm not remembering his message even correctly, but he said there are these three things. There's Bible reading, prayer, and meditation. They're the three musketeers. One for all and all for one.
Mm.
And it was a long sermon, and it's, to this day, it informs a lot of my Bible study, my personal Bible study. Bible reading, you read to see what does God have to say. You pray it into your heart, and then you meditate on it. And so that came into my reading this morning. I thought, yes, okay, I'll have a couple more pages to read tonight. So
very good.
Taking pictures of the garden.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
beautiful. I love seeing the sun light it up, and then the cloud comes over and it darkens a bit. And then, of course, we're on the flight path today for the Leeds Bradford Airport.
I'm gonna miss that.
No, I don't mind that at all. I had that when I lived in Rhode Island. I was in the path of Providence Airport.
Oh, really?
Actually, very close. I think we're only 5 miles from the airport. So,
I might not
and it was
be-
funny too, because when I would fly in, occasionally the flight path would take me right over my house. I could actually, because we were so low, just before the plane landed, we could actually see the street and the house.
Wow.
So it was cool.
I doubt if we're more than 5 miles to Leeds Bradford.
Oh, I hear the planes because I sleep up in that
well,
room with the window open. But I like it.
When my hearing aids are out, I don't hear. But
I'm hot though. Can we open the door?
I
or
usually have.
I'm
this window.
boiling.